Rangers have been left with plenty to think about after a damaging night in Poland, and Derek McInnes did not hold back when assessing exactly what went wrong. Let's break this down. There is so much to discuss in today's video, so be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for daily Rangers content. Rangers made the dream start against Jagiellonia Bialystok, taking the lead inside just 4 minutes and looking completely in control of the game. But what followed was the complete opposite of what McInnes would have wanted to see. Rangers conceded twice in the space of just 17 minutes, and both goals came after mistakes that the Rangers boss believes his side simply cannot afford to keep making. And this is where McInnes' post-match comments become particularly interesting. Rather than blaming the opposition or making excuses, the Rangers manager essentially admitted that his own players had thrown the game away. McInnes said Rangers have been doing exactly what they wanted at the start of the match, controlling possession, rotating well in midfield and putting pressure on the Bialystok defense. But after taking the lead, they stopped doing those things, and according to McInnes, that allowed Rangers to completely lose control of the contest. The Rangers boss was particularly critical of the mistakes around the edge of his own box, making it very clear that he does not want to see his team repeatedly giving the opposition opportunities in that area. He called for his players to be more concentrated, more aggressive, more organized, and, importantly, more vocal. And perhaps the most worrying part of his assessment was his admission that Rangers showed too much of what they were last season. They gave the opposition encouragement, they gave up too many chances. And ultimately, McInnes believes they beat themselves. That is a pretty damning assessment from the Rangers manager, especially after the club had been hoping to start this campaign strongly. However, it wasn't completely negative. The second half introductions of Finlay Curtis, Nico Raskin, and Cammy Devlin gave Rangers a much needed lift, while the manager also pointed towards some of the positives from the second half. Rangers created chances and looked physically capable of getting back into the game. But the biggest concern for McInnes wasn't actually the chances they failed to score. It was the chances they allowed Bialystok to create. And that is something he knows has to change very quickly. There is also another major takeaway from McInnes' comments, and it could have a direct impact on what Rangers do before the transfer window closes. The Rangers boss openly admitted that the squad still needs strengthening. Ben Godfrey's injury has not helped, while McInnes is still working his way back towards full match fitness. McInnes also pointed out that some of the new arrivals haven't had the minutes needed to be fully ready for matches of this intensity. But rather than simply accepting the situation, McInnes made it clear that Rangers are still working on bringing in more players. And crucially, he suggested that the Rangers squad could look very different by the time the transfer window closes. That is a huge statement, because while McInnes insists there are reasons for the current situation, he also knows that those reasons won't matter if Rangers aren't winning football matches. As he put it, managers and players are ultimately judged on winning games. And with Rangers now facing the second leg at Ibrox, McInnes has one opportunity to turn this around. The deficit is not insurmountable, and the Rangers manager clearly believes there is another big performance waiting to come. But after what happened in Poland, his message to the players is unmistakable. The mistakes have to stop, the concentration has to improve, and if Rangers are going to progress, they cannot afford to beat themselves again. Before we get into our next story, if you are enjoying today's video and you would like to see more and stay updated with the latest Rangers news, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a video. Thank you, let's get back into the video. Rangers' search for another marquee winger has taken a dramatic twist, and what looked like one of the club's biggest transfer pursuits of the summer now appears to be slipping away. After already adding Daisuke Yokota, Rangers identified Frosinone star Ferez as the next player capable of transforming Derek McInnes' attack. The club showed just how serious they were by submitting a huge £8.5 million bid for the 23-year-old, a fee that would have smashed Rangers' transfer record. However, that offer was rejected, and since then the race has taken a major turn, as Monaco have now stormed into the picture, with the Ligue 1 side moving quickly after the departure of McInnes to Paris Saint-Germain. Reports suggest Gedgemis is far more attracted to a move back to France, leaving Rangers facing an uphill battle to convince him that Ibrox is the right destination. Monaco are now believed to be closing in on an agreement with Frosinone, putting them firmly in pole position ahead of Rangers, Celtic, and several other European clubs. While the Light Blues were prepared to push the boat out financially, the feeling inside Ibrox is that completing the deal would now require an enormous investment for a player who doesn't appear fully committed to making the move to Glasgow. Because of that, Rangers have reportedly cooled their interest and are no longer actively pursuing Gedgemis. Instead, attention has shifted towards PSV Eindhoven winger Kuhaib Driewesh, with 2 bids already submitted as the club looks to avoid missing out on another key attacking target. The transfer window can change quickly, but as things stand, Rangers' record-breaking pursuit of Ferez Gedgemis looks to be coming to an end, with Monaco now firmly in control of the race. The big question is whether Driewesh becomes the club's next major signing, or if another surprise target emerges before the window closes. This is a significant setback for Rangers, but it also shows the club aren't standing still. If Gedgemis is now out of reach, all eyes will turn to whether they can finally get a deal over the line for Kuhaib Driewesh, or whether another unexpected twist is still to come before deadline day. Missing out on Ferez Gedgemis would undoubtedly be disappointing given how highly Rangers appeared to rate him, but it may also be the sensible outcome. Spending close to £9 million on a player who reportedly isn't fully convinced by the move would have represented a huge gamble, regardless of his talent. If a player isn't 100% committed to joining Rangers, it's difficult to justify making him the club's record signing. Instead, Rangers can now redirect those funds towards targets who genuinely want to be at Ibrox. Kuhaib Driewesh has emerged as the obvious alternative, and with the club already making 2 offers, it suggests they have been preparing for this scenario. As the window enters its decisive stages, supporters will now be hoping this setback doesn't leave Rangers short of the attacking quality they clearly need after an underwhelming start to the campaign.